29th, 2026. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. We get a couple of additions on here for the agenda tonight.
Yes, we'd like you to add consideration of a radio when you discuss the vehicle specifications for the Cundy's Harbor Squad.
Yep, we can do that 5.5.
Okay.
Dawn's got something. We'll do that during public comment.
Okay. Margaret has an announcement too, I think she's gonna make during public comment.
Okay.
Okay.
Select Board announcements. Today, we had a meeting with Port City Architects and Ryan. We're going to be building our new station up the hill here. It was our first get-together to set up timelines and find out which way we're going with all this. So it was a good meeting, but nothing's going to happen until the snow melts. And we need to get a survey, wetland delineation, all that type of thing going in the spring. So she's talking at the end of March. Then, fingers crossed, maybe break ground in September. So, that's about it. It's an hour meeting. It went pretty well. Town administrators report.
Well, did you miss public comment, the
Oh.
earlier public comment?
Breezed right over it.
Did I do that on purpose? You have to
We
wonder.
talked about it, but you didn't call.
I know. I get excited.
Oh,
All right.
Margaret.
Public comment.
responded.
Don't fight, don't fight.
Don Miskill, Mitchell Field, Stewart. I thought this was a good time to update everybody on the two projects that are ongoing at the field. We had a progress meeting on Tuesday. Unfortunately, the weather is our Achilles heel right now. When it comes to the boat launch, the parking area for vehicles and trailers, which is formerly known as the concrete pad, is basically fully prepped and has a layer of gravel on it and is going to sit there until the springtime when they will do the final work. The ramp into the water off the causeway is, the foundation work is all done. We are waiting to put the concrete planks down. They're 26 feet wide. They're 3 or 4 feet,
Why?
3 or 4 feet wide, 26 feet long. They're going to be laid horizontally, and they're going to use 2 pieces of railroad track steel, and that'll allow them to level the grade and then just put them in and slide them down into the water. It's going to minimize the disruption of the bottom, and it won't impact Merry Meeting shellfish, which is an important consideration in all this. They want to have those concrete planks laid before they take the break and wait for spring. And so right now, the tides were good this week, but the ground is frozen, and they can't work with it while it's frozen. They still need to lay geocloth and a final layer of gravel to backfill behind the planks as they put them down. There are 27 planks. So we're sort of on hold right now. Lakeside Concrete, as everybody knows, we extended the contract to remove the foundation itself. They have all the floor is up. All they have left now is the foundation wall. They did the sidewalks and everything. They're being slowed somewhat by the weather too. So because of that, there are 2 recommendations that I have for the select board. We need to extend the Lakeside contract because I believe when we extended it for the foundation work, we only went to the end of January.
Right.
So we should extend that another month. And because of that, then I would extend the field closure setup that we have right now for public vehicle access for that same month.
I move we extend the contract till the end of February.
I second it.
No discussion? All in favor?
Thank you. And one other note for the public, we are not going to have a Mitchell Field meeting in February. However, I will issue a steward's update and a chair update, and I will make some sort of a note to post on the town website that if people have any desire to look at those, we can get them. And I've notified Amelia and everybody. We just don't have any other progress. All that work is going on in my basement. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Don.
Don.
Hi, everybody. Margaret McIntyre, the Harpswell Town Planner. I wanted to let you know that we just heard back from the state today. We resubmitted. The answer, the short story is that our comp plan was found complete and consistent with the Growth Management Act.
Yay.
So we got full state approval. We're good for 12 years.
It's about
from-
damn time.
I know. 4 years, 5 years. We got state approval. It's good for 12 years. So that's cool. The comp plan met, I think, last week to approve some revisions that I had worked on drafting with Max Johnstone from MCOG. The comp plan approved them. We submitted them. It's a little more casual process when you're doing these updates to something that you've already submitted to the state. So I submitted them thinking that would take at least a couple weeks, but he got back to us today.
Oh.
And so the comp plan is holding 2 public hearings. One is next Tuesday night at 6 p.m., and the next one will be Tuesday, February 26th, with Thursday, February 26th, which is a select board meeting night. So we're going to hold it at 5 p.m.
Where?
here.
Here, okay.
Yeah, the first one we scheduled, not realizing that we had to do this 30-day notice period because it's an amendment of an adopted plan instead of an amendment of a draft plan. So we do it by the 26th. That'll satisfy those requirements, and then it can be up for vote at town meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks to you and Ellen LeGros.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's been 5 years.
great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just came in the end. I
I'm
didn't.
glad it wasn't retro from the day we started.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
We'd have to start again next
yeah,
week.
we start,
But I think it's important that we now have the state saying that our plan, with these changes that we
Right.
would like the town meeting to adopt in March, would be consistent with the
Yeah.
Maine Growth Act, because we have now made a stronger case for requesting a waiver
Yeah,
to
for-
the growth zone.
Yeah.
and there was really minimal changes to the plan itself. It was more just incorporating
Yeah.
things that were already there in different places.
Primarily-
And updating some data.
Yeah, we rewrote the capital plan to update it. I mean, there were
Chrissy,
some
yeah.
updates, but,
Yeah.
it didn't change drastically.
No, nothing
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
It's really just updating and some language clarification around rural areas and growth areas. You have to be, we've learned, really careful about how you use those words in the plan because they have another meaning than what you think that they're going to mean. So, yep,
Thank you, Margaret.
we're all approved. Yeah, thank you
Appreciate
very
your
much.
efforts.
Thanks a bunch.
And also, before I leave the podium, the planning board's holding a public hearing next Wednesday night here in the select board meeting room to discuss some ordinance amendments. They are really just housekeeping sort of things. There's nothing substantial. So I think it should be pretty easy.
You
And
Send us a copy?
Send you a copy, yep, and they're all on our website as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay.
And once you have the public hearing, then the planning board will advance those to the select board, and you will decide if you want to put them on the March town meeting warrant.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
thank you.
All right. Now for the much-anticipated town administrator's report.
I also want to say that I attended the kickoff meeting today with Port City Architects and Wright Ryan, who will be building the facility, or they'll be managing the construction of the new facility. They'll be managing all the subcontractors. They may do some of the work themselves. But we are at a very preliminary stage. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done around the site. As Kevin mentioned, or Selectman Johnson mentioned, there are some wetlands that we need to take a look at. It will determine what our setback can be, and there's a hope that we could shift the building a little bit and it could save the town some money. But again, this is all very preliminary. We did reach out to make sure that someone from each of the 3 fire departments, were able to come to the meeting and, hear what was going on. And we plan to meet initially about once a month And then as things get rolling, maybe every 2 weeks. So that's kind of how that's moving forward. I also wanted to bring to the board's attention that our alternate code enforcement officer, Tony Simmons, he has now received several certifications. The one that we said we needed him to get is shoreline zoning, and so he now has received that. He also got certification in legal issues, land use planning, and residential building. When we hired him, we said that we would consider a pay increase when he became certified in shoreline zoning. And so in recognition of these certifications, I'm recommending that his compensation be increased to $275 per hour, retroactive to January 1.
Isn't that by 275
By,
rather than
yes.
2?
What did I say?
Two.
Increase- Yes, by, thank you.
I mean, that's
Another,
pretty flimsy payment for,
thank you.
I so
I
moved,
knew you would
actually.
find my grammar error.
I so move.
I so
Sorry, what
second.
you said. No.
I second it.
All in favor?
Thank you. And I would say we are waiting the final report from our wage and salary consultant, so that is something that we would like the board to have a workshop on and consider, making some changes to the proposed 2026 budget, so we can take that into consideration. I will tell you, on a first review, it looks like we are well below the area labor market. There has been an attempt by the consultant to compare us to 10 towns in our labor market, and then to try to compare us to some of the smaller towns in our labor market. We're not so out of whack when we start comparing ourselves to the smaller towns. So that's information you will be getting.
Compare us to Dover, Foxcroft.
Yep.
That concludes my report.
That's it. All right. Emergency Services Vehicle Specifications, Cundy's Harbor Squad Vehicle. Chief Wallace.
Good evening. Usually I get up here, I think, good morning. It's been a long day already. So, I think a month ago, we asked permission to sole source this truck because we were having trouble finding anybody that was interested in building the truck we were looking for. And that vendor was Bulldog. They have wrapped up the spec sufficient to attach it to a contract, and the current number is, we were thinking it was $400,000, the current number is actually $361,925. So it's significantly less than we were expecting it to be. And I can answer specifics to the truck if you'd like. It's basically, it carries all of the ice rescue equipment, all the forestry equipment, the cascades on it, which we use to refill firefighter air bottles, will be on this truck. So it basically carries everything that wouldn't go on a fire engine or a tank truck.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be on an F-550 four-wheel drive chassis. So, happy to answer any questions you guys have.
I've been through it with you guys, so it's up to these two.
Looked pretty straightforward to me.
So
I like it.
We're asking permission, obviously, the detail of the contract needs to be finished, so we're asking permission for you to approve that process so somebody can sign the document.
I gotta tell you something, I've been around fire trucks my whole life, and I've seen them come a long way. In our departments, we're using old fuel trucks as tank trucks, and cast-off pumpers from other departments when they, got rid of them. And we've come a long way, and I'm very proud of what we're doing, and I totally appreciate it. So, we're looking to, I move that we go forward with it and that we authorize Kevin to sign the papers.
I second it.
I don't see any discussion up there. All in favor?
Right?
Thank you. The other side of the equation is the radio for this truck, the same as we did last week for the other truck. And the quote for that is $2,162.53. And most likely what's gonna happen is, the town would order the radio now to make sure that we have it when we need it, and then they would be invoiced now, and then the installation would be invoiced when the truck's delivered.
I move we do it.
And could you include that this authorization would come from the emergency vehicles reserve account, as would that prior
I
approval?
will
as
include
well?
that in my motion.
Yeah,
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Just like that. All right, here we go. 2026 budget review.
So we're back to the select board's review of the proposed 2026 municipal budget. You started the process last week, and I think we worked our way through to the fire departments?
We
Is that
got
where
through
we
the
ended?
fire departments, didn't we?
No, we.
No.
No, we didn't do any fire
Oh.
department.
I'll tell you, we did.
You want to say we went through them?
Yeah, we went through them, that's it. Yeah. I put a marker in where we were.
I think we started off with Kenny's Harbor.
So Cundy's Harbor is the first one in the book, that's true.
Yep, I put a page marker in, so, yep, there we go.
In 2025, Cundy's Harbor asked for 82,000. In 2026, they're asking for 89,000. And you've been provided with, all of their financial paperwork that they submitted to the town. And also, the staff put together kind of sheets that compared each of the three departments, as best we could in some of these financial areas. It's not apples to apples all the time, but it does give you total expenses and total revenue that you can compare. As I recall, there was a lot of discussion about like a new breathing apparatus, I think. I don't know if the chief wants to, there's some new equipment that I believe all three departments are dealing with,
Yeah,
trying to cover.
Don't they have to be replaced?
So NFPA certifies these things, and what they say is after 3 revisions of their standard, you're supposed to replace them. Standard typically runs about 3 to 5 years. So in the case of Cundy's Harbor, they are going to start replacing their SCBA's over the next 4 years. And their SCBA's, their budget's not as high as Oars Island's budget, but that's because they don't need to buy the tanks that go on the back or the masks.
No.
So that's where the difference is between those two departments, is the number, and then Oars Island's their tanks are coming up on end of life, and we have no choice on end of life on that equipment. We have to replace it or remove it from service. So,
Well, and people's lives depend on it.
Yeah.
We don't want to mess around.
yeah, and my understanding is Harpswell Neck's looking at some, not this year, but in a couple of years, I guess they're looking at some, but I don't know the details of it.
Yeah, I heard something.
Yeah.
I don't see anything that out of whack here.
Are you ready to move to the next department?
Yep.
Horace Bailey. And we do have somebody here tonight, the treasurer, Kathy Hurst. Horace Bailey had, let's see, in 2025, they received 82,000 from the town of Harpswell. In 2026, they're asking for 105,000. I did provide
What did they do with it?
the treasurer with some questions that one of the board members had. So I don't know if you would like to address some of those, Kathy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Kathy Hurst, treasurer of the Oars and Bailey Island Fire Department. The question was about whether we can differentiate in the budget between the schoolhouse and the rest of the department. And yes, we are working on that. It wasn't perfect last year. And also, I'm afraid I didn't see any instructions in the form for how to do that or whether to even do that. But I understand that you do want it split out now, right? So next year, we'll certainly split it out, and we have codes in our budget line items that will allow us to do that. Any questions on that? Okay.
Good with that?
The second question I have concerns the investment fund and whether there's a certain percent or amount that is dedicated to the fire department or schoolhouse. Since its inception, the investment fund has never been used for any expenses. It's been rolled over only. It doesn't therefore appear in the budget as a source of income. It hasn't been used to fund anything. Any questions on that? Okay,
Why not?
we haven't needed to.
Oh, okay. Well, you're asking for, what, 20,000 more this year than you did last year?
Yes,
No.
The investment account is, you have almost $800,000, which is significantly higher than the other two departments. Do you have any plans, I guess, for
okay,
that money?
I'll go through the rest of the questions,
Yeah.
shall I? 3 is, are there any limitations on spending the money in the investment account? And the funds were given with no restrictions, no limitations, no specifications. It's considered a board-directed account, and the board will decide how it's spent. Let's see, the next question I have is about capital expenditures. Yeah, do you want to jump to 7? It's my last question, or do you want Ben to answer 4, 5, and 6?
You can jump to 7 while you're up there.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a long-term plan? The Strategic Planning Committee of the Orrs and Bailey Island Fire Department has made that one of its prime objectives for the coming year, and the Finance Committee is working on that very thing to come up with procedures and guidelines for managing and using the investment fund.
It's me again.
All afternoon.
I'm sorry for you folks. Let's see, 3 is the first one I'm going to tackle. And I believe the focus was on, it appears that there were no expenditures in 2025 for the capital account. And in fact, what happens there is typically.
They happened at the end.
They happen at the end of the year. That
That's kinda
typically
what I
happens
figured.
every year. And in fact, at the end of the year, Orrs Island had expended just over $48,000.
Perfect.
They had budgeted $56,000 for the year. 10 of that was for the fit-out of the new pickup truck that you folks voted to approve last week, so it hasn't been expended yet. They rolled it over to the coming year. So actually, if we'd spent the $10,000 for the pickup truck, we would have been over on their planned budgeting for last year because of increase in costs that everybody's been seeing.
I'm assuming the answer's probably the same for supplies.
Yeah, supplies, we've been getting nailed on hard,
Yeah.
really hard. So, on the capital, I made a serious effort. Matter of fact, Orrs Island approved their budget last night, and I've already ordered all of their capital equipment for the year as of this morning. So hopefully, when you guys see a 9-year for this coming year, when you see that in the Budget Advisory Committee, hopefully you will already see that reflected in the 9
9
months worth of
months,
data.
not 9 years,
Yeah,
right.
so, 9 months, so there won't be confusion. I can't guarantee it, because we all know sometimes with capital items, it can take a long time.
Well, it was my first year, so I've been confused the whole time. I'm figuring it out as I go, and I'm catching up quick.
I've been doing the fire chief thing for close to 20 years now, and I'm still confused every year. Kathy has to straighten me out on what the numbers mean. So, let's see, on number 6, so our goal is always to spread out capital cost over years, where possible. So for instance, we talked about the SCBA's. Our SCBA's, we have spread that over at least 3 years. It's possible we might spread that out over 4 years, which would mean extending year 3, because year 3, we were planning on $40,000 a year for the first 2 years, and then 60 on CBA's the third year. Part of that's because we have additional cylinders that need to be bought, so I don't know that we really will be able to do that, because those cylinders absolutely end of life that year. So we do try to spread them out as much as possible. At the same time, the goal is to make sure that our SCBA's are within the same edition, and there's no changes to the SCBA's, because that impacts training and certification of the PACs, which is a big deal for us. Turnout gear is a pretty substantial budget line in our capital budget this year. That's based on $4,500 for a set of turnout gear per firefighter. We have firefighters in the academy, and so that gets them one set of gear. While they're in the academy, they're all using borrowed gear. So we try not to send them to the academy with new gear. We want to make sure they get through the academy, that they beat up old gear, and then at the end of it, we give the old gear back to the person that provides us. We do the repairs and all that. That becomes a second set of gear for a long-term firefighter, and we buy new gear for those folks. And the gear has an end-of-life. NFPA says you're supposed to replace it every 10 years. So whether you use it or not, the stuff degrades.
Yep.
You know, even sunlight on the stuff can degrade it. Was there anything else in particular? I think that covers the notes I had on that, unless you had some specific questions.
How many do you have in the fire academy?
We have 5 right now from Orrs and Bailey Islands and 1 from Cundy's Harbor. So, and we just graduated 7 EMTs between the two, 1 for Cundy's and 6 from Orrs Island. And a lot of those folks are now doing the academy. So for the first time in a long time, those that get through it, the younger folks that are doing this are going to be cross-trained, which is a huge boon for us.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good for everybody.
That's not very common in the volunteer ranks to have people that well cross-trained, so. But we have some young, energetic folks that are coming through the door, and right now I think we recruited around, well, we received at least 12 applications last year, just from these 2 departments. So, and of course, when you bring new people through the door, it costs money to train them and onboard them. I'll give you, for instance, real quick, not to take up your time. But I had one person I had to send up to Concentra to get their medical clearances and the vaccinations and stuff that they needed. And I just paid the bill for that for Cundy's Harbor. It was $2,000 for that one person. So it's not inexpensive to make sure these people are all.
And hopefully, we keep them retained here.
Yeah, that's the goal. You know, FRAP has been a huge part of that, so I appreciate the town continuing to support that program, because that's where a lot of these new people are coming through, is connections, and then the combination of Mariel and Sean working through FRAP to build on that and giving them the focus that they need to succeed. It's been huge. It's been a game changer for us, so I appreciate that you guys keep supporting that program, and I think bang for the buck, that program is a huge deal for the town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is not budget related, but you kind of spiked my interest. Are most of the people that you found from within town, or are they from outside?
So,
of-
believe it or not, one young lady that went through the EMT class and is now in the fire academy lives in Topsom. So in that case, we don't encourage them responding to calls from Topsom. So, but in that case, what we're doing is we're encouraging them, if they want to come down and hang out for a shift down at the Orrs Island Station with the paid firefighters, right? Then there's one more person ready to go at the station, and so that's great. We already have a young man that lives in Brunswick up by Cook's Corner, that he's a firefighter, that he runs with Orrs and Bailey Islands. So when we have a structure fire, we see him there all the time. He drops everything and he comes. It takes him a few minutes to get here, and we don't encourage him to be running code 3. I mean, there's no code 3 in your POV, but in your personal vehicle, but
I think I met him on Bailey Island the other day.
yeah, I mean, the structure fire we had Friday night, he was at it almost as quick as I was. I mean, he was there within 5 minutes of me getting there, and you know, that, I don't know if anybody's seen the news on that fire, but that fire was a big deal. We needed all the help we could get, but Brunswick came down and helped, and later on West Bath and Topsom did. But the fact that Danny Evans' old place didn't burn flat
Oh,
was,
that was a good save right there.
that was,
Oh, boy, when you get an exposure like that.
I was down there
guys,
that
that's
morning.
Incredible.
yeah, well, and meanwhile, amongst all of this, we've got propane tanks and stuff going on.
Right.
You know, going off. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
literally detonating. So
Oh, yeah.
you know, if you see some of the volunteers out there, you know, give them an attaboy, because that was top-notch work and scary at the same time.
Oh, yeah. A lot of adrenaline on the fire ground.
Yeah, yeah. So Any other questions, or, no? I'm.
No.
Yeah, if you have questions later, feel free to reach out. I'm, open book, so.
Okay.
You ready for the next department, or did you want to
Up to
talk
Mike.
further, or more questions?
We can go to the next department.
Harpsel Neck.
Cool, Matt.
So Harpsel Neck in 2025 requested 67,500, and that is the same request for 2026.
Pretty much identical to last year.
Yep.
Okay, any questions on that, or? you all
I
set?
can't find any.
Okay. Then we move to the Department of Safety, which is the Municipal Firefighter Program, and the Fire Administrator, who is also our Emergency Management Agent. So we have full-time wages for that position. We have two municipal firefighters who are full-time, who do run, for instance, that recruitment program and serve the town on a regular basis. And we have, how many part-time, regular part-time?
Oh,
Then we have per diem and
One.
part-time, and I don't remember.
two full, one regular part-time, and then per diems.
Okay, one regular part-time, and then everybody else is per diem. So we have a really strong group. I think they perform really well with the volunteer organizations, and there's, some good camaraderie. I think Mike Drake does a nice job serving as liaison with all three departments and being kind of our communications point person at the town for issues related to fire and rescue. So from my vantage point, I feel like our supplemental support system is working well.
Can I just comment on that? That fire Friday morning, 3 of the paid firefighters came in on that when I struck the all hands on that fire. So those 3 extra firefighters on the scene made a huge difference. So making that change to allow them to come back on overtime when they're not on duty, it made a difference.
So that is a policy change that the board adopted, and it came from the fire administrator, basically saying if there are certain situations where they need more hands on deck, or if there's an event like an upcoming storm. So recently, the fire administrator with his past storm, he had heard that there could be some additional municipal firefighters on over the evening, additional day coverage, and so because of the policy the board adopted, I did approve his request, and everybody was very appreciative that, again, the town has that ability to help out in those kinds of situations.
I will say that OBI Rescue, they spent the night there, I believe, Sunday night.
The municipal firefighters? Yeah.
Yep. I know there was an early morning call. So,
Yeah.
and they were there.
Yeah, there was an early morning call, and unfortunately, the ambulance got stuck, and the paid firefighters had to come over and help get the ambulance unstuck, so, another save.
I didn't plow that part.
It was, the road hadn't been cleared,
It's a lot of snow.
it's a long ways in on that road,
It's a terrible driveway,
yeah,
any day of the week.
yeah.
Hopefully it led to a good outcome, though.
Yep.
So I think this is a responsible budget that's put
Two
forth.
quick questions, especially after just hearing from Chief Wallace. Why are we gonna cut the budget for FRAP if it's as
Because,
effective? as-
Originally, they budgeted for a lot more hours, and Mike has talked with us about that. They haven't needed as much
Okay.
time. It has been very effective.
As long as it can still be
yeah,
as effective
yeah.
with that budget being
I
cut.
think initially they thought they would meet every week, but they've kind of gone maybe at certain times to every other week.
Okay.
And then in the summer, maybe, so I think over time, it starts to reflect the true costs, and maybe
Yep.
initially they thought there might be more cost to it.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, next budget is called the Emergency Services Advanced Life Support Budget, and that includes our contract with Midcoast Hospital for 24/7 paramedic coverage dedicated to Harpswell, and they are centrally located. That proposed contract in 2026 is $429,726. There's also 18,000 in our central communications line. Part of that is a new maintenance agreement with RCM, which is this radio communications company that is basically handling, the oversight and troubleshooting of all of this new emergency equipment we purchased, which was to the tune of about $200,000
Greater.
or greater than that on all of these three towers. Then we have a potential figure of another 100,000 on the Weber Tower. So it's a substantial investment, and we have to maintain a maintenance agreement so that we can get immediate assistance if anything should go down or need, we need some expertise to evaluate it.
Without communications, we are sunk. I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
that's it.
And Kenny's Harbor's a tough spot.
Yeah, it's a hill that blocks everything.
Okay. Let's see, next budget area is the harbor master budget. And we have a full-time harbor master, we have a seasonal, part-time deputy harbor master. We do propose to contract some services if they need help with removing an abandoned mooring, that kind of thing. We have boat and motor repair and maintenance costs, operational costs related to the boat and motor, some mooring equipment, travel expenses are minimum, some training, membership and dues, uniform clothing, supplies, some work tools, office equipment, and then we have software that we use to track all of the moorings, and people can use it to sign up for a mooring or to re-register their mooring, and that comes at about a $12,000 cost annually.
I'm good.
Okay. Animal control is the next budget. Basically, we have one person who has been fully certified by the state of Maine, is available 24/7 for the most part. I mean, we have a little bit of a backup plan, obviously, if that person's not available. But this person works very closely with law enforcement, with the Humane Society, with people in our community to make sure that, dogs are registered, that they're properly vaccinated, that people are following the rules about dogs on town property.
It's people you're dealing with more than animals.
Yeah, probably.
I went on a run with him, a particularly bad run, and I
Oh.
was just impressed with how he handled it. And on both ends, both at the home end and at the shelter. He's just,
I heard about that.
yeah, yeah.
So shout out to Jim Babarski if he's listening tonight. This also includes our agreement with Midcoast Humane, where we are able to take animals that have been found that are stray every community has to have an agreement with some shelter where it can take animals that are abandoned or found as stray. So that is the animal control budget. It's up about 2.4%. Again, these budgets do not include any additional wage and salary increases for market adjustments that we may be talking about with the board. The next budget is general assistance. This one has stayed at a similar level for some time. We're looking at maintaining the same level as the 2025 budget, which is $11,300. We are reimbursed up to 70% of all of our expenses by the state of Maine for this program. And it can help people with electricity, housing, such as rental payments, household personal
Firewood.
supplies, heating, oil, although we do tend to use our own program for that kind of thing, as opposed to general assistance. Food is available, but we because of the food pantry we have here, we don't really see a lot of requests for the town to provide food in addition to what the pantry is providing. So that's worked out really well. Social services is the next area. This is where the town provides, in many cases, what I would call nominal support to organizations that provide some type of social service-related service in Harpswell. But there are some that stand out, like People Plus is proposed to receive $15,000. Midcoast Hunger, where they're staying at the $6,000 level, and Harpswell Aging at Home at the $5,000 level. But I think those organizations perhaps reach the needs of more people than some of the other organizations that
People
do
Plus-
help
People
Harpswell
Plus does a
people.
lot more than people think. I mean, they run the transportation network.
Yes,
and
that's
there's a lot
right.
of- a lot of things they do that people really don't even know about.
Serve quite a few people in town and gives the breakdown there. And I think it's like 330 people in town that they serve, which is 10%, so.
And a couple organizations did not ask for funding in 2026, so. Okay, then we go to the health and wellness.
May
Or
we
did you
just
wanna-
point out that Christine hit on the subject that there were a couple entities that had not submitted their applications, and so the BAC did not proceed with them. But you'll see at the bottom of your chart that we did have a new applicant this year, Sweetser,
I saw that.
but the Budget Committee did not recommend that, as they haven't been really accepting new applications. Just want to make sure I point that out.
And I think the other point about Sweetser, it had quite a large budget in terms of, and it had a lot of other revenue sources available to it. So I think the Budget Committee didn't necessarily want to address a new request or fund an organization with that much capacity, I guess. Okay, then health and wellness. Harpswell has its own property tax assistance program, and we expended all of the funds in 2025, so we're asking to put $20,000 in that account for the coming year, or for this year, now that we're in 2026. Heating assistance, we are not currently projected to put any appropriation in there. We do understand there was a fundraiser recently at Cook's, and that it was quite successful, and so I think at some point, generally, they come to a meeting and there's a presentation.
They're closed right now, so they're probably not thinking about it.
Okay. And then we do, we carry a little bit of money. I think the question came up about HA and the home repair, and we have a little bit of money we just carry over. It's not an appropriation now. The next area is cultural. This is where you have the Oars Island Library, Cundy's Harbor Library, Curtis Memorial, Harpswell Historical, Pajupscot Historical, funds for Harpswell Memorial Day, funds for Harpswell Community TV or Harpswell Community Broadcasting Corporation, Bailey Island Library Hall, Harpswell Neck Physical Education, Community Fireworks, and Maine Public. Curtis Library did come to the Budget Committee meeting, and I guess all the libraries did, so. But I don't believe they asked to speak with community television this year. And we have had some comments about that recently, so I don't know if that's anything you want to discuss. The Harpswell Neck Physical Education Group is asking for money for summer camp and for,
To finish their capital
to
project.
finish the capital project, the tennis courts and pickleball courts.
I'd say it's about 90% pickleball down there.
They're crazy, those people.
They're not,
Yeah.
it's a cult.
They come in a crowd when they show up.
My wife's in that cult.
Okay.
I'll ask the question about, I'll be the elephant in the room. About HCBC, I don't mind funding them, but we're also funding ourselves to broadcast the same governmental programming. What is, I guess, HCBC's long-term plan in conjunction with the town, you know?
You might want to slide up to the podium.
I think you ought to indicate what your position is. with-
Okay, I'll go to the podium and talk about it.
Because, did you want to say that you are the president of the
I
board?
will
Okay,
get up there.
okay.
That's why I figured I could just
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
you.
Well, I think it's better coming from the
Yeah,
organization.
I don't mind where he sits.
Well, I think it's just the public.
Yeah,
Needs
yeah.
to know there's a separation.
Church and state.
Put one of my other hats on, and Dave Chipman, the president of Harpswell Community Broadcasting Corporation, which is a nonprofit that runs the town's television station. Of course, for years, we handled all of the television, and we've been streaming actually for a long time. I think we were one of the first in Maine that streamed our live programming. And it's true that the town has taken over a lot of that meetings, streaming the meetings and putting them into Facebook and, you know, other platforms. The station has been doing that, and we're finding that a lot of, and we can actually measure how many people go to our websites and how many people go to our internet platforms, and there are quite a few that go to watch the meetings. So we are, this year, actually, we are, what you're seeing, that amount, the money you're seeing there is our operating money, which comes from, it's covered by the franchise fees, which are paid by cable television viewers. So once, and you can see by looking at the history of that, as people drop off from cable, it's getting less and less and less and
Right.
less. It's still being covered, but we're looking at ways to make money, to have operating money covered other than the franchise fees, or we don't want to hit tax money. So we're looking this year at, with the money that we have raised through a grant, through donations, we've raised a substantial amount of money to replace all of the equipment inside the building over there for production and broadcast. So one of the capabilities we're looking at is expanding our ability to video on demand and stream. So but what was handled here is the G part of PEG, which is public, educational, governmental. That's only one of the three things that are in public access. So we handle all three of them and always have. And we're putting a lot more effort into, obviously, the P and the E, since government is sort of breaking away a little bit. So, you know, we see what's going on, and we're on top of it, if I guess to answer your question. So, yeah.
That's the, you read my mind, basically. I was gonna ask that very question, you know, if you had seen the franchise fees dropping.
Oh, yes.
You know, over
Yeah.
over
Oh, I've
time.
been
as
watching them for
people
years.
go away
Oh,
from
yeah.
cable into these streaming services and stuff. And it just, and I think you hit I think your explanation was perfect, but that's where my concern laid was with the town expending money in our communications department for that government broadcasting. But if you guys are starting to focus more on the P&E part of that,
Yep.
you know, and you're planning for those franchise fees dropping, that's what I was just hoping to.
Well, obviously, we have our followers who
My
come to
wife's
us.
watching it right now.
They come to us for the G stuff. We're broadcasting on cable and over the air, which is something the town doesn't do. So right now, folks are watching at home on antenna. They're watching this, a good part of southern Maine, actually. So we're doing things the town isn't doing, and we're covering that G part as well, but differently, I guess, and expand it in an expanded way, so.
I do want to, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but I still get the same question I asked you years ago, is, what's the end game? It's basically, it's you and Donna,
Oh, yeah.
but, you know.
Well,
but-
we,
but-
this year, we've hired Jim
Yep.
Barbarski as our station operator, which is what I used to do.
Can he do what Donna does?
And we're looking for someone, you will see in our annual report that we're advertising actively for someone to fill in a good part of what Donna does so that we can gradually get
Well,
Donna, she's old enough to retire. I mean, I'm sorry, Donna, but,
So is Matt, but he's not going.
right.
Thanks.
So, I mean, we're certainly looking at
Yeah.
a change in our staff and we're in the process, we're actually adding a few job descriptions and splitting that. I mean, what I used to do was free. I've always volunteered, and now we're paying somebody to do what I used to do for free. And we're certainly looking at, you know, how much things are going to change and what the cost is going to be and who's going to be doing what role. So, yeah, we're looking ahead at it. Yeah.
Have you like digitized any, the movies you used to do of the old fellers around town and
Yep.
show 'em?
We are gradually digitizing those. We have one room set aside, which is, we have someone coming as a volunteer, and he's taking all those old videotapes,
Yep.
which amazingly, they still play. Some of these tapes that are 40 years old are still, and so while we can play them, we're digitizing them and archiving them so that they will be around a little bit longer. And we're playing some of them from the vault, if you will.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting stuff.
Well, that's some of the important stuff you guys do.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I've had the same problem for years. I wonder what the end game is. you
Yep.
know?
I saw that in your report there that you guys were looking for that person. I was gonna
Yep.
ask the same question because, I mean,
Yep.
like you said, you guys you don't wanna do this forever. You don't wanna be.
Can't do it
Right.
forever.
You know, so, I
It's
mean,
getting
I
to the
just
point-
don't wanna see us fund something and then all of a sudden,
Right.
something unfortunate happens and there's nobody to take over the reins.
Well, Donna's been very dedicated to this. I mean, she
Yes,
comes in and
very
spends
much
more
so.
time than she's paid for, volunteers a lot. When you see her out recording something going on in the community, she's not being paid for that.
You know,
It's a
that's all
thing.
volunteer.
We're looking for someone who can be that kind of dedicated, at least to do part of what she does and sort of learn the rest of what she does.
Yeah.
So eventually, maybe we could take a vacation. Donna and I could go somewhere. Would be
But
nice.
I did want to bring up this issue because this is coming from tax dollars. The $87,580 is a raise and appropriate amount. The franchise fee goes into the general fund. It's not dedicated to community television. We seem to have this fundamental difference about how we talk about it, but this figure does impact taxes, so.
If we left it there, if we didn't spend it, it would offset taxes, I agree. Yeah.
But this is, we are raising $87,580 from the taxpayers. And if you want to say it's offset by franchise fees that are in the general fund.
That is
But
what I wanna
think
say.
you can't say that you don't impact the tax rate, because this is a raise and appropriate figure.
Correct.
And all raised and appropriated figures impact the tax rate.
But you have to take into account that more than that comes in from franchise fees, so it's. it
Actually,
offsets it.
our figure now is below 87,580.
Just, right, it's 85,000 or
I think
something like that,
the current estimate is 83.
83.
So
So
I
we-
think you
so
need
we're-
to be
no.
careful how you speak
Well, no,
about.
while I agree with you that a few years ago, we did it as raise and appropriate,
We've done it like that
Every
for a long time, a long time.
okay. I don't want to argue about it anymore, but the fact is that we get a lot of money from franchise fees, and we're looking at that drying up, as obviously it is. You can see that it is. So we're looking at other ways to raise that money.
Yeah, and the town gets the franchise fee, just like any other community in Maine, because the cable company is using the rights of way. They are allowed to recoup that money and pass it on.
Right,
Like, they
other
can
towns
recoup it
may
from the
use it in
subscriber and pass it on to the town that way. But a lot of towns, the money just goes in the general fund. They hire somebody to do the G. They don't necessarily pay for the P and E. We did talk about this at the budget committee. So I just think we need to be clear when we're using certain terms about,
The town of
you know,
Rumford a few years
impacting
ago,
tax
they
rate.
used the franchise fees for fireworks. So, I mean, you can use it for anything you want, but it's an extra tax that's paid by cable television viewers. And if you put it in the general fund and don't use it for something that benefits them, they're paying extra to plow the road, pay the dog officer, and more than everyone
I
else.
think
So-
most of the stuff that we appropriate tax money for benefits the general public. I mean, that's the whole
Right.
idea in
Right.
appropriating it,
Right,
is
right.
it's the public's money. So I don't think any of it is spent.
Anyway, we are seeing that money dry up, and we're looking at other ways, so.
yeah. I think the other issue that came up, but I don't think we really did address it at the budget committee meeting. The town has a policy about whether or not we should be fully funding nonprofit organizations. And that's an existing policy. We've had that policy for a long time. And, you know, it's important to bring it to your attention, and I don't know how you want to address that. But I think in the past, it's been said that community television hasn't done as much fundraising. You haven't had an annual fundraising campaign. You did collect bottles, and that was income that you used to pay for some of your
We
services.
pulled in $20,000 this year, more than 20,000 in donations. So in
Was that cash or was that equipment?
cash
Cash?
to buy equipment with.
One of
So-
those was a one-time gift, though, wasn't it?
Yes. So we have raised enough money to, and some of it is the grant from the cable company, enough money to replace the equipment, all of it digitized to up to 4K capability and, you know, modern. But what we're asking the town for is the biggest portion of our operating money. And we raise all the capital ourselves from some other way, so. Anyway, any more questions? All right.
All right. You good, Matt?
Yep.
All right.
All right,
And I
moving
think-
on.
I think we're at Recreation and Community Services. And we have our full-time Recreation and Community Services Director. We have a part-time program coordinator, various communication expenses, travel, training, membership dues, equipment, supplies, printing, and recreation event. We are asking to add $500 to the recreation event because we really didn't budget for the town paying for some type of 250th birthday celebration of the United States. I mean, we're involved in a planning group, and the Harpswell Historical Society is taking the lead on organizing a lot of events, but the town would like to add $500 to this budget in the recreation event area for that purpose.
So that'll take it up to 104 something. 104, 477, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have rec programs. Trufant Somerton, basically maintenance and other operational costs associated with that, porta potty. We have, smaller amounts for the actual sports, baseball, basketball. Harriers is a running club, skiing, cards, soccer, music, arts, family swim, yoga, summer swim, new programs, and adult programs. And that total comes to $11,250.
I think that's an extremely small price to pay to make this town appealable to a younger class of people. That is one of the best bangs for our buck we have going, in my opinion.
And I think trails and hiking, we moved that to the town lands area. That's why you see that struck through there.
Got to get that donation box back up. We're losing, I will again, we're losing millions.
That's a good idea.
We had it up and it broke.
Yeah. I know a carpenter.
No, it was metal.
What? I don't know, what she,
I am not remembering what.
what?
Keep up with it, Christie.
Oh, just. Getting late.
I think I should turn the remote over to Amelia.
So now we're on debt
oh.
service.
Where are we? On debt service.
So you will see an increase in this. Let me start over. You do see an increase, as the board recalls, in December. You did authorize, and we did move forward with the $1,150,000 borrowing to complete the funding, necessary funding for the Mitchell Field boat launch. And there is the first estimated payment, estimated interest for the $6 million borrowing, which has increased our debt service. The principal payments of $515,000 is the total, and then plus interest together, we're asking for a budget of $784,000.
Not much we're gonna do about that.
No. You gotta pay your debts.
Just don't look at it too close.
I know.
You'll see it paid off.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I'll help too. My measly contribution every year.
10 years. Okay, and then we move to capital projects, where we are proposing to put $75,000 in a town office improvement facilities reserve, $60,000 in vehicles, $300,000 in our recycling center and transfer station reserve, $10,000 for boat and motor replacement, $5,000 for office equipment, $250,000 for emergency service vehicle, $300,000 for capital roads, $10,000 for dry hydrant replacement, for $1,010,000.
And we did put the town's capital plan in your books, and you do see the vehicle schedule.
And then the last budget would be Mitchell Field. We do have some money in here, obviously, for electricity, some minimal amount of money. We have repair and maintenance items every year, mowing, dog stations, the porta potties, they're on their own line, actually. They're below repair and maintenance. There's picnic tables and toilets, some signage, bandstand maintenance, and then this year, under monitor, we're proposing that we would have to pay someone now to, do a lot of what our steward, Don Miskell, is currently doing. So we're looking at combining this monitor position here with money that we have in the town lands committee for a monitor and having a year-round part-time monitor on other town lands and also at Mitchell Field. And we're gonna kind of flex that and see how much time is needed at Mitchell Field, especially with this boat launch, potentially, getting up and running. Not potentially, it will. And just, how much oversight is the town going to have to take on there to just kind of make sure things run smoothly?
Yep.
So,
Although I have to say, Mirror Point has nobody.
Right. You go, there's a big parking lot.
It's a bit, yeah, just a parking lot. You can launch your boat. Can't leave the trailer there overnight.
Yeah.
We'll have all those
Yeah.
rules laid out, but
I think we have multi-uses at Mitchell Field. You've got people using the beach, the bandstand, and it's just a lot of activity.
I think it might be needed maybe for the first year, maybe it does work itself out, like your point,
Yeah.
but at least we have it budgeted for
Yeah.
when they're there. I think between Mitchell Field,
Yeah.
Cedar Beach, and Lookout Point, their
Yeah.
tenure here will be pretty full.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
Dawn answers a lot of people's questions.
Yeah.
They want to know, I don't know, they just have a
Well,
lot
it's
of
nice to
questions about.
see it kind of budgeted out in the Mitchell Field section too, just to kind of give people an idea of how
Right.
valuable Dawn has
Yeah.
been,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to this town over the
Right,
years, by
right.
volunteering for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He volunteers far greater than what we're budgeting.
Oh, yeah, by far.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just a comment.
yeah, well, agreed.
So that's it for appropriations. I do think there were a couple of areas originally, from the Mitchell Field Committee, they proposed $50,000 be raised and appropriated for removing the hazardous materials from the Century Building. But we have unassigned fund balance so we're proposing, and we would put this in a warrant article for the board to consider, that the voters authorize $50,000 be used to clean up the hazardous materials in the Century Building. And then the other proposal for using unassigned fund balance was $50,000 plus our insurance proceeds, and we got about, how much did we get for the salt shed? Was it 28,000?
Just under 28.
So around 28,000. The backside of the
Yeah,
salt shed needs to be dealt with,
did
so.
we have an estimate on that?
We've had a hard time getting an estimate, quite frankly.
Blue tarp and some nails?
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much.
That's what we're doing this winter.
Yeah,
So that.
we'll fit right in with everybody else's
Yeah.
front yard.
And then, we're asking that 600,000 of unassigned fund balance be used to reduce the tax commitment too. That's pretty consistent with what
Yeah.
the board's been doing for a while. It is gonna be a revaluation year, so I think it's gonna be really interesting to see how much new value there is, what happens to the tax rate. There's a lot of fluid pieces
Yeah,
here, so.
next year will be interesting.
get that mill rate down to $1.
Yeah, I know.
Gee,
I-
I don't
We
know
should-
about that.
It'd be nice to get it down to the lowest in the state.
I don't think we're gonna be shocked what the new evaluation is, but it's gonna be extreme.
Yeah,
You look at the home sales.
right.
On my road. I haven't
yeah.
seen one for under $1.5 million
Right.
on the water side.
Yeah.
On my side, little
I
less.
mean, I know some people that bought a house here within the last year and it wasn't on the water and what they paid for it was,
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yep.
wow.
Oh,
Where we're headed.
authorization of the warrants.
I move we authorize the warrants.
I second that we authorize the warrants.
All right. No discussion? All in favor? We have a public here. Public comment?
You want to finish it off? No, you started the day?
Mary Ann, nothing? No? Other business?
Did just want. So the board has discussed multiple times about the financing for the Central Emergency Services Building, and we plan to apply to the Maine Municipal Bond Bank for the $6 million.
Saw that.
And the application is due, my apologies, with the audit, the timeline got away from me. I wish I'd put that on this week's agenda, but you have been discussing it, and you have been provided and reviewed the information. and the application is due February 4th. And so I'm not certain that, I didn't have a chance to check the minutes. I'm not certain that you have officially authorized me to submit the application to the Maine Municipal Bond Bank. Would you consider doing so?
Yeah, right now.
I second it.
All in favor?
That was easy.
Spit it out.
Yeah, we could have saved us 2 minutes there.
I was thinking that we did, but.
I thought we did too, but now we're covered either way.
You may have, but I really
Yeah, we're
just wanted to
covered.
verify with the deadline.
Just in case.
Not to make a joke about it, but it's the quickest 6 million I ever spent.
Yeah,
Oh, gee.
yeah, that was quick,
Oh.
too easy.
Oh, it's hurtful.
I think that's it. We do have a meeting next week, and will you be remote?
I'll be remote,
Okay,
be Zooming.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
zoomy,
yeah.
Be on South Beach.
yep.
Yeah,
I'll put up a
I don't know
blurred
if the
background so I don't rub it in, I'll put a sweatshirt on, turn the AC up.
meeting on Wednesday.
Anything else?
No,
Nope, in that case, we're adjourned.